Beatrice Golomb looked at amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease in America, which is basically one of the most horrible diseases you can get. All right? And she found that atorvastatin and simvastatin increased the risk of ALS by 50-fold, 50 times increase in ALS. All right? That's published. I've got it.
Can you just give the brand names for atorvastatin and the other statin so that people understand?
Lipitor is atorvastatin. Simvastatin, I can't remember what it's called here. We just call it simvastatin. It used to be called something else. And there's a lot of statins. There's rosuvastatin, pravastatin, simvastatin. It used to be cerevastatin. They're all basically the same, right? Some of them are what they call lipid-soluble, which means that they can get into the brain more easily. And they seem to be the ones that are more likely to cause neurological problems. Surprise, surprise. And your brain is 25% made of cholesterol. So imagine blocking cholesterol production in your brain. What do you think that's going to do, gentlemen? Well, it's going to be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Right. Dwayne Graveline, who I knew at one point, who's now died, he was an astronaut, or trained as an astronaut. He took statins and had an episode of what they call transient global amnesia, which is basically you just forget everything completely. You can't remember anything virtually. He thought he'd had a stroke. Turned out it was a statin that caused it, right? Because he did this challenge-rechallenge. He restarted the statin. Same thing happened to him. And he was an aeronautical physician, so he's dealing with pilots. He was rather concerned that if a pilot was taking a statin and they suddenly had an episode of transient global amnesia and forgot how to fly a plane, that wouldn't be a good thing. All right? You may remember that recent crash in India where the guy switched off the fuel systems. Okay. Inexplicable. Well, it would be explicable if you'd forgotten how to fly a plane and you just suddenly started moving the switches around. Is that something to worry about? At one point I said, I'm going to ask the pilot of every plane I get onto, are you taking a statin? In which case I'm not flying on this aeroplane, because I don't want you to suddenly forget how to fly an airplane while I'm on it. Thank you very much.
And by the way, I think people do know coenzyme Q10, and there is a pathway called the mevalonate pathway by which the statins work on. I wonder if we can show that on the screen so that people can understand that it is actually a pathway to block coenzyme Q10, which then block cholesterol.
Well, I like to think of it a bit like a trunk to a tree, and there's branches that come out. And if you block the trunk here, you block all the branches as well, one of which has cholesterol and others are created at the same time. So you're not just blocking cholesterol production. No.
So if somebody from this conversation is taking a statin and they're like, but Dr. Kendrick, I'm so scared about getting a heart attack, but I'm on a really good diet. What can they say to their doctor to make them understand and give them the power to take control of their health and get off that statin?
Well, you can do what some people do and just don't tell the doctor, but stop taking it. And then a big pile of statins at home, which I saw a lot of, by the way. I think you just say is, well, it's very difficult because people don't like to argue with doctors because somehow or other they think doctors know more than they do, which they do about a lot of things, but not. They've got a very kind of broad but thin knowledge about things. One of the things is that if people are getting they're not aware they're getting any adverse effects, all right? So they're getting no pain. They're living their best life they can live and running marathons or whatever they're doing. You could say to you, is it worth the battle? Well, that depends on yourself. I say to people, if you think you're getting an adverse effect, like your memory's got a bit wonky or you're feeling weak or whatever it is, say, I think it might be caused by the statin. I'd like to do a challenge-rechallenge, which is basically stop taking it for about 2 to 3 months. All right? See how you feel. If the symptoms go away, all right, then you take it again, and if symptoms come back, you've proved that's it. All right. That's one way of doing it. It's a challenge called challenge-rechallenge. And then the doctor can say, oh, well, you should. And I've seen this. The doctor say, oh, you should still take it anyway because otherwise you're going to die of a heart attack, which is a very worrying and stupid thing to say to somebody. And I don't know how you've got to be got to have a bit of testicular fortitude, as they say, is to do that, which is to basically tell your doctor, well, get stuffed, I'm not doing what you say. You then have a problem with the insurance companies because if you are found to have a risk of heart disease and you're not taking a statin, your insurance will go up and they might, especially if you're going on a holiday, you might run into problems. That's there as well, all right? I think you just have to go, right, I know I'm going to be told I'm an idiot. I know I'm going to be told I'm going to die tomorrow from a heart attack. I know all the moral manipulation and whatever's going to happen, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right. And can you do it? Can you not do it? It's like saying to people, LDL doesn't cause heart disease. And yet you get swamped with all the stuff on the other side going, it does cause it. There's no evidence for any of this. They just say it. All right. So you just have to be confident. And I think, as I said, the world changes one conversation at a time. Hopefully a conversation like this, the other stuff I've done, the other stuff I've written, I'm not alone in saying this, not by any manner of means. Eventually the world will change.